separation because the very wording of it is only focused on the diets themselves as if they're the source of the problem without at all considering the individual's role in this and why it's happening. I mean, to apply this logic to the problem that's been established with separation as food, we know that you, as a compulsive eater or chronic dieter, regard food as your problem. That can be completely reversed with this logic that's being applied to diet. We know that you, as a compulsive eater or chronic dieter in the stages of curing, regard dieting as your problem. It's the same kind of mentality. The diet is the heading. No more lunch, no more sweets, no more than 1,000 calories a day, no more protein before noon. At the heart of every diet is a resounding no more. Dieters, as we said, progress from feeling bad to feeling that they should restrict their eating. The particular method by which they do it is not important. At any given time there are dozens of options. Liquid protein, foods eaten in a particular sequence, high fiber, low fat, high fat, low protein, low carbohydrate, and on and on. Regardless of what diet you choose, however, you are opting to limit your food choices. You are, in a sense, relinquishing control over what you eat. That makes a lot of sense to me, because that's what I do when I am believing that I'm hurting myself without considering that the harm that I'm doing to myself is actually in the mind and it's not really about the food, even though I'm aware that I'm probably not operating from a reality-based foundation, that I'm operating from the mind, even though I'm aware that, okay, this food probably is not going to kill me. This is a little bit fucking extreme. Are you serious? Like, do I have to take, like 3 gallons of water enema a day? Is this really necessary, Ben? Even though it's clearly a problem, I'm still possessed by the belief that the food is the problem and that the solution is to be found by continuing to follow energy and emotions and ideas of the mind instead of stopping here and directing. You are, in a sense, relinquishing control over what you eat because I believe that I've already judged and defined myself as inferior and like broken, and so I go into my mind without considering actually what's going on with me, and then as this judgment create a new system that I place up here as some kind of authority parental figure, and then I try to live under the direction of this authority parental figure. But as soon as I get into that, um, it's like I see that this authority parental figure has been created from a point of abuse and self-neglect. And so the entire system operates from the understanding and as abuse and self-neglect, so I'm going to want out. And while I'm participating in this system, wanting out doesn't consider actually stopping, because then I have to stop and actually accept what I've created and then stop participating in it, understanding what it's been like. I don't want to stop and accept it in that moment. I want it to go away on its own completely by itself and never have to deal with it or see it again. And the solution to that, apparently, is to then go to food. Sugar, specifically. Which appears to care for me when the parental abusive system that I've created to manage myself doesn't. But hiding from it like that by going to food actually doesn't make this parental figure go away. And when the energy from eating food is gone, guess what? It's still there because I haven't dealt with it. On the surface, the decision to restrict food makes a great deal of sense and seems like a healthful thing to do. Restricting food in response to a yucky feeling, however, is far from benign. When you restrict your food intake because you find yourself disgusting, or because you are terrified of the consequences of not restricting it, you are essentially punishing yourself. You are saying that you eat too much, that you are bad for doing so, and that you must be controlled. The diet is the punishment for your out-of-control behavior. And does that not sound like what parents do to their children? Exactly so. Because you are terrified of the consequences of not restricting your diet. Terry intake. No. That's not the exact quote, but I just improvised. Yes, like I said earlier, because that judgment is this belief that I am not good enough to handle this relationship to food, that I am inferior to that. Okay, this next bit, I'm not going to read the entire story, but it's like a little short story about a girl who had gained 20 pounds over the summer and then was invited to do something at a wedding for her friend, and so she was afraid of looking fat at the wedding, and so she went on a big diet and lost a bunch of weight, and then she went to the wedding and was a big success. Okay, so this is her reaction after the wedding. Sarah had a mixed reaction to all the compliments she got at the wedding. On one level, she loved them, yet she was aware that they made her uncomfortable. It seemed like a lot of attention, and in the back of her head, she was aware that the compliments implied criticism of her former state. "You look so good, I barely recognized you," is simply another way of saying, "You looked awful before." I mean, yeah, that's how it works. Just like the ever so useful understanding and investigation of polarity of the mind that is explained in detail in the videos presented by Destiny Productions. I mean, I can't believe I never figured that one out on my own. Like, the specificity of polarity. I mean, because it's really, "You look so good, I barely recognized you before," is simply another way of saying, "You looked awful before." I mean, ignoring the blaming these other people, that's how feeling good can't exist without not feeling good, which we define as feeling bad. That's just how it works. Okay, that's all I have for you guys today, but I am not very far through this book, so I will probably be doing a few of these videos.